What is good, viewers? I am here today to do what if Deku was betrayed. I know many of you are like, oh, we already know what's gonna happen. Oh, this shit is gonna be the same as everything else. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. In this what if, I'm making him go to Shiketsu. I'm gonna just say that now, but I'm not gonna spoil anything else that's different, except for All Might is stupid. Like, just stupid. Alright? But anyways, we're just gonna start it off with we see Izuku buying ingredients for his classmates so he could make an amazing dinner for them tonight, because they finally came back to UA after saving Eri. So meanwhile, back at the dorms, Bakugo is yelling, "Where's the shitty nerd?" And Kirishima's like, "Whoa, calm down, Baku bro. Why do you need Midori? He just went out to get us some ingredients for food." And then Bakugo was like, "Because he's a damn traitor, you damn shitty hair." And everybody was like, "What? That's not that's not possible." And Bakugo like, yeah, show them, Pikachu." And Kaminari just showed everyone the class a photoshopped image that is like a little difficult to make out, but that it was fake. Everyone was mad and made a plan. So a few hours went by after Deku came back into the dorms, and Deku was like, hey guy, and he instantly gets cut off by getting knocked out by Kirishima. After that, the whole entire class, Bakugo yelled at the whole entire class saying, go get a rope or tape and just tie him up." And everyone was like, "Yeah." And they asked Sarah if he could tie Izuku up, and he did. So when that happened, Izuku started to wake up. He was like, uh, "Guys, what was that for?" And as soon as he tries to finish the sentence, a Bakugo yells at him, "You damn nerd!" And then hit him with an explosion right in his face. And half of his face, was on the right side, got hurt from this. And Izuku's now screaming out in pain, and they're like, "You're the damn traitor!" And Mina throws the acid onto his stomach. So I understand many of you are like, "Oh my gosh, this is really the same." No, it's not, because Mina actually throws acid on his stomach, his chest, and his legs. And of course, Ida uses his recipial burst on his stomach, the same spot where acid was starting to spread, which made him spit out blood. And he thought that Momo Uraraka would like trust him, because Momo is his best friend and Uraraka is a really close friend. But Uraraka went to go and kiss Ida. Momo went to go kiss Bakugo, and Izuku had a crush on at least on one of them, but he didn't know which one to choose. And as he saw that they were kissing the people that hate him the most, his heart just broke. He stopped screaming, stopped feeling the pain and everything. It's like time just slowed down for him. After that, everybody beat him up. He was bloody on the floor, but he wasn't screaming anymore. He wasn't even crying. He was just sitting there. And Toru was the only person that actually went to go get Izuku, go get Mr. Aizawa to help Izuku. And when Aizawa came in, after Toru led him to where they had him, Aizawa was furious. He just saw a bloody Deku that wasn't even saying help, wasn't even crying. He was just laying there in his own pool of blood. Aizawa was mad, and he told everyone to go to the common room, and as he takes Midoriya to Recovery Girl. So Recovery Girl sees Midoriya like this, and she tells Aizawa to put him down under the bed. So when he does that, Recovery Girl tries to heal him as best as she can, but she can't heal the acid parts because they were still like spreading a little bit. So they called an ambulance for them, and they took Izuku to the doctor. Now, a day later, actually no, not a day later. We're gonna go back to when Aizawa goes back to the dorms and asks why the hell did they do that, and Bakugo was the first one to say something, saying that he was the damn traitor. You could just look, Pikachu, show him the proof. And when Kaminari showed him the proof, Aizawa said that's not even Izuku. you can see that it's not Izuku because he has a scar right there on his right arm, and when he was typing, you could see it because he had on a short sleeve shirt. And everyone felt bad, but they were like, "No, that couldn't be possible. Maybe he just faked it and painted on that." And they're like, and Aizawa was getting even angrier, and he's like, "I'll let Izuku decide what your punishment is, but we're right now gonna go get Shinzo. We're gonna go to the hospital and ask him the questions himself." And they're like, "Fine, watch. When he's the traitor, you gotta do one thing for us." And he says, "All right, then, fine." So when Izuku got to the hospital, they tried their best, but they couldn't recover his right eye. His stomach was covered up, but it wasn't gonna fully heal to the point where he could like eat something like really solid. And his arms and legs are really messed up because everybody went ham on him, and it just hurt. He could barely lift up his arms without getting a sharp pain. And many of you are asking, "Oh, why is Todoroki a female?" That's not Todoroki. That's Todoroki's sister Shota. I know. I'm gonna change the name later on, or I'm just gonna use Yukine. Yep. No, not Yukine. That's from Akame ga Kill. Um, Yuna. Yeah, I'll use Yuna. So her name is Yuna, and she goes to Shiketsu because she didn't want to follow her father's rules and all of that, yada yada yada. And she does have the same scar as her brother because she wanted to be just like him, but she never knew about this until Izuku gets to Shiketsu. So the next day, Izuku woke up in the hospital bed and he sees everybody there, and he's like, "What do you guys want?" With no remorse in his voice and just a dull expression, as Aizawa said, "Problem child. I brought in Shinzo to see if you're innocent or not." And then Izuku says, "Whatever. I really don't care. So go ahead." As they did that, Shinzo asked him the question if what's his name, what school does he go to, if he was the traitor, would he ever be the traitor, and does he want to go back to UA? So for the first one, he says Izuku Midoriya. He says that he goes to UA Class 1A, and he said no to being the traitor, no to ever being the traitor, and no to going back to UA, which everyone was shocked that he didn't want to go back to UA after what they have, but Aizawa completely understood because what they did to him was gruesome. And when that happened, a portal opened inside the room, which everybody didn't realize what was going on. And when that portal opened, it took Izuku and just closed and disappeared. He just disappeared. Everyone was shocked to see this happen and didn't know what to do. Now, when Izuku was taken, he was in a dark room. It wasn't his mindscape or anything. It was just a dark room itself. Izuku didn't know what to do. He looked around, and he didn't really seem to care. So when that happens, a guy with white hair, pointy ears, well, not pointy ears, like more like fox ears, approached him, and he says, "Oh, so you're the chosen one." As Izuku was confused on what do you mean by chosen one, and he says, "Oh, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ryoto, and I'm that portal thing that brought you here was my doing, cause my time is coming to an end, but I need somebody to take my power." And he asks, "What is his power?" And he says, "It's called Dragonic Force." Everybody's like, whoever doesn't know this is actually my personal OC that I really like to make. And Dragonic Force is basically like a overpowered thing, but I'm not gonna make it overpowered in this one. I'm only gonna make it like half of its original strength. Half of its original strength is on par with Prime All Might. So that's fine, because All For One and All Might together could probably defeat him, yada yada. And if I didn't say this before, I am very sorry, but All Might did take back his quirk when he realized that he was a traitor and all of that, and gave it to Bakugo. Ugh, I don't know why. That was like the worst mistake possible in his entire existence. But okay. And of course, Izuku was like, okay, can you explain what your powers do? And Ryoto was like, oh yeah, sure. So basically, Dragonic Force gives you super strength like a dragon, of course, super speed, super durability, regeneration, and I have a special ability with mine, which is ice magic, but it's not your type of ice. It's different. It's like strong ice. Like, think of absolute zero ice and then multiply that by 10. As Izuku was surprised that he was actually getting this type of power, and he was like, why do you see me worthy? As Ryota said, you've been betrayed, just like I have in my past life. I was exiled from my own clan. I was sent out to the human world, and when that happened, they all tried to kill me just to get my power, or try to use me as an experiment. So I understand where this is coming from. But now I have a wife, a kid. I'm pretty much happy. And he says, oh, right, I almost forgot. You have a special type of ice where you can create ice with blood as well, which which is basically unbreakable. And you have sword skills. And when I mean sword skills, I mean sword skills, like god tier level. And it's pretty funny. And it was pretty funny to see how Ryoto's face was, and Izuku let out a little chuckle. And he's like, see, that's the spirit. Now you're getting back your emotions. Also, your hair is going to change color because of the type of power you're going to receive. And don't worry, this power cannot be taken. It's not a quirk, so you'll be fine. But yeah, this has drawbacks, of course. You're gonna need a lot of rest, and you need to drink a lot of water, like more than your original amount. A bottle a day isn't gonna help you. It's at least 2.5 to 3 bottles a day of like a regular water bottle. If you drink a gallon, you'll be set for a month. So I think you should do that more. As Izuku nods his head in agreement, saying, "Okay." And he and Ryoto handed over his power to Izuku. When this happened, Ryoto started to fade away, and Ryoto's like, "Oh my gosh, I almost forgot this one thing." And Izuku's like, "Wait, what's happening?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be fading away, but there's one ability that you have that isn't a part of what I gave you, which is summoning." And Izuku's like, "Summoning? What is that?" And he says, "I have no time to explain it, but the day that you do it, the first summon that you ever like do will explain it to you. Right now, go be a hero, kid. Be a better hero than I was in my world. Cause I was number 2. I was a number 2 hero in my world. You can be a number 1." And Ryoto vanishes. As he vanished, the portal opened up again and dropped Izuku back into the hospital bed where he was. When he got back into the hospital bed, they saw that his wounds were getting healed instantly, and his hair color was changing. Not only his hair though, but his eyes. His hair color changed to black with tips of blue, with dark blue and light blue mix. Along with that, he has dark blue eyes that were like blue emeralds, and a sword started to appear by his side, which is the one that he's holding right here, just without the stickers that much. Well, it does have stickers, but it says the will of the dragon on it in Japanese writing. So when he wakes up, on the hospital bed. He looks around and says, "What do you guys want?" And they were surprised. They were shocked to see how much he changed. And Aizawa mustered up the courage to ask, "Why don't you want to go back to UA?" And he's like, "Are you serious? They all just beat me almost half to death. I almost died. And what do you guys care about? Y'all never wanted me in your class anyways, even though All Might said I couldn't become a hero. Because I was so-called villain. But no, I was given a second chance. By someone that actually cared. So, Nezu, I know you're there." And Nezu pops up from Izuku's, no, not Izuku, Aizawa's scarf. And he says, "Yes? Young Midoriya, please, you must come back to UA." And Midoriya was like, "No, I'm not coming back to UA. I want to go to Shiketsu." Everybody was shocked and like, "What? Why would you want to go to that third ranked hero school?" And Izuku was like, "Because if I go to that school, I know I could rise it up in the ranks, and I can make it better, and people that I could trust." As he gave a cold stare to everyone that was in the room. And All Might was there, but he kept quiet because he thinks that All for One has something to deal with this, and he's trying not to like push push any buttons because he realized how powerful Izuku got. I might be switching from Izuku, Midoriya, or Deku, and I'm sorry for that. So yeah, the guy's name was Ryoto, of course. So Izuku wanted to change his name when later on, well, not later on. So we skipped that day that he was in the hospital because everybody left, everybody went away. Bakugo tried to apologize, but Izuku didn't care, so he just didn't listen to him at all. So the day that Izuku was leaving, he said everybody tried to give him a reason to stay, which he didn't listen to. And then Momo and Uraraka tried to say that they love him, which made Izuku laugh like a maniac. And he's like, "If you really love me, you would actually try to stop them. But you didn't. I think that's what hurts me more. That my so-called friends, and my close friends, didn't even try to help me." As Izuku left, everybody was in tears. Even Bakugo. So then, when that happened, Izuku gets to Shiketsu, and I already know Shiketsu only has like 5 students. Because I do not know why, but alright, it must be an elite school, so it's 6 students now. Because, we got Todoroki's twin sister. And oh, I forgot almost everybody from there. I know Inosuke, I know Cammy. You know what? We're just gonna leave it to those two for right now because I can't remember. And also, this is before like he went to Shiketsu, like got to Shiketsu, where he heard a girl crying, and he heard people yelling at her because she was a failure. They were calling her a failure, a waste of space, never should have joined, or never should have lived. And when Izuku heard this, it made him angry. And don't worry, he still has a sword that's in the picture with the Will of the Dragon written on it. It's on his back, but like, he could change it from just sitting on his back to just going around his waist, because it's not even that big of a sword. So when that happens, Izuku's like, "Hey, you don't say that to a girl, much less say that to anyone. That's not really nice." And then they're like, "Shut up, you damn kid. You don't understand what we're doing." Of course, those two was Shigaraki and Dabi, and they were yelling at Toga because Toga was supposed to steal files from UA, but she didn't get the right ones, sadly. Which Toga was crying, and she was a little bit injured because they were beating her up before. And they say, "Hey kid, If you're just gonna be standing there, just get this waste of space out of our. And before he could finish his sentence, he got frozen. He got frozen up to his neck. And Izuku, with a cold stare, says, "Don't you ever dare call somebody that. Not in this life, not in the next. Everyone has purpose. That's the reason why we live." As Toga was still crying a little bit, and she looked at Izuku, and she felt like a weird connection to him, like she knew him from before. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause right here because I need to drink some water. And when that happened, he unfreed Shigaraki, and he told him to go back inside. He doesn't care what the hell the LOV will do to him, as they were surprised to see that he know who they were, but they still went inside to see what was gonna happen. They were still listening, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay, Toga?" As Toga was like, "How do you know my name?" And Izuku was like, "Ouch, that hurts." For the person that you keep on trying to kill, trying to take blood from, you can't even realize me even with a little change. And he has a little chuckle, and Toga was shocked to say, "Izuku?" And he was like, "Yep, one and only." And she was amazed that somehow he changed so much. And she was like, "What happened to you?" And Izuku was like, "I really don't want to explain it. Let's just say I'm not a part of UA anymore. They betrayed my trust. And with that came my power. So this is the reason why I look like this." With him scratching the back of his head while chuckling a little bit, as she hugged him, which shocked him, and she was like, "Just let it all out. I understand that you feel pain right now. Just let it all out for right now, Izuku." As he started to tear up, and he hugged back, and like a few hours later, Izuku stopped crying. He wiped away his tears and was like, "Toga, do you have anywhere to stay?" And she was like, "No, I don't. This was my only home until you know." And he was like, "Well, if you want, you can stay with me. Right now, I'm trying to go to Shiketsu, but that might take me a while. Or probably just not. But what about you join me?" And she was like, "Do you really think a villain like me can be a hero?" As Izuku was like, "Of course he can. You have an amazing quirk that allows you to transform into anyone. Just because the side effect of it is that you need to have the person's blood doesn't mean that you're weird or you're a villain. It's the way that you use your quirk or power, in my case, to is how you use it." Which her eyes start to sparkle as she realized, and her heart starts to beat faster. And she, in her mind, she was like, "Huh? What is this feeling? Is this love?" As Izuku gave a warm, bright smile, got up, and reached out his hand to her, saying, "Come on, let's go." As she took his hand, and they walked over to Izuku's house. Now, when they got there, his mother wasn't at home. She was overseas. Let's say that. Yeah, she was overseas because I don't want to kill Best Mom. No, I don't want to do that to him. That's gonna hurt him way too much. So he got Best Mom is over. Best Mom is overseas right now with his father. His father didn't abandon him. They still call and everything. And he called his mother to tell her that he would no longer be going to UA, which surprised her, and she asked why. And he said because All Might and the rest of Class 1A betrayed him and beat him. As she was furious, and she said, I'm gonna kill them." She literally said that, and Zuko's like, "Whoa, calm down, mom. It's not that serious. I'm fine now." Also, is it okay if somebody stays over? They kind of got kicked out as well, and I wanted to ask if I could take care, if they could stay here. And his mother was like, a boy or a girl? And he's like, a girl. And his mom was like, ooh, my little boy is trying to go girl. And he was like, Mom, that's embarrassing. And he was embarrassed, and Toga didn't even know why. And his mom said sure and everything, and he said, all right, Toga, you can stay here, because my mom is overseas right now with my dad, and they're not going to be back for a while, like a long time, probably like a year, I guess. And Toga's like, wow, they really trust you, huh? And he was like, yeah, they're amazing, they're great parents. So we skip a week, because in that week all they did is Zuko learned how to do swordsmanship and found out special moves to do it along with his powers. And Toga was training her body, so her physical peak is like 25% of One for All now. So when that happens, they go to Shiketsu, they sign up, and Toga still looks like herself, of course. And they were like, oh my gosh, it's a villain. Boy, stand back. And he was like, wait. No, she's not a villain. She's our new classmate. She's not a villain anymore. I saw it all happen. She got kicked out. And she needed help. And they lowered their guard down a little bit, and she was a little bit sad, and Izuku hugged her. And he was like, don't worry. I'm here for you. You don't have to worry that much. Just because they don't know what your past is because they label you. And that's not right. So, then, Miss Joke asks what's his name, because he put his name as Ryu, because he wanted to be close to Ryoto's name, which means dragon. So he says, my name is Ryu Sakai, and that name means dragon's territory. Of course, that's a name that I came up with as well. And she was like, what's your real name? Because I feel like I've met you before. And he was like, oh, right, my real name is Izuku Midoriya. As she was shocked to see that one of 1A's strongest students got moved to Shiketsu. And she was confused. She was like, why did you leave UA? And he told her, and this is the first time Toga's actually going to hear the full story of what happened to him. And they were both angry, but Toga was angry at the class, while Miss Joke was angry at Aizawa, because Aizawa let all of his students beat up him without actual evidence. Also, that day that he went to Shiketsu, Nezu came over to Shiketsu along with Class 1A and All Might and Aizawa, as they see them in the front, and Miss Joke started walking up to the front, and she was angry. This is the first time anybody could see Miss Joke angry. And Toga saw what Miss Joke saw, and she also followed. And Toga has the ability to like summon weapons out of nowhere. I'm giving her that ability because why not? Because it makes it much easier for her quirk. So when that happens, Izuku sees what they're gonna do, and he tries to, and he was like, "Wait a minute, no!" And he ran straight towards where they were going, and somehow they were faster than him, even though he was running. And all the Shiketsu students looked out the window to see Miss Joke in front yelling at Aizawa and all of Class 1A. And Toga was ready to fight them and yelling at them, and when Izuku got out there, he was like, "Oh my gosh, why are you guys so fast? How are you guys so fast?" And they were like, "Shut it!" And he was like, okay." And this is when Todoroki's sister, Yuna, was getting into Shiketsu, and she sees Shoto getting yelled at by Miss Joke and Toga. And she's like, "Why are you guys yelling at them?" And they explained what happened with Izuku, and then they point to him now and see how different he is because Yuta knew Izuku from UA because Todoroki uh showed showed her like who Izuku was because they hang out and stuff. And Yuna was very she wasn't even angry. She was just disappointed in her brother that she didn't want to be like him because if and uh she asked him, "How could you?" And he was like, "But there was evidence." And she was like, "Even so, I don't want to be like you. If it means betraying and beating up my friends, then no." As she wiped off the like painted scar, because she always paints it because she likes to be like her brother. And she has half cold, half ice as well. Let's give her that. But hers is like snow, like not actual like blue ice. It's like white ice. So yeah, white ice, and Shoto's is orange and red. Hers is just straight red. So then she started yelling at them as well, and All Might was very disappointed in himself. And then Zuko's like, all right, it's fine. But anyways, and he got serious, like super serious, like cold serious. And he was like, "What do you guys want?" And there, Nezu pops out from Aizawa's scarf again, and he was like, "Young Midoriya, we have found evidence that you were not the traitor." And he was like, "No shit, rat." And everyone was shocked because they never heard Izuku like curse. And then Nezu was like, "But the photo that we found was photoshopped." And he was like, huh, "No kidding. What gave it away?" And they were like, "We are terribly sorry, and we wanted to ask again if you would come back to UA." As he said, "Hell no. I will never go back to that school." And Nez was like, "I fully understand, but we still have a traitor." And Izuku was like, "Are you serious? Have you not figured it out by now?" And everyone was confused by what Izuku was saying, and Kaminari was acting confused. And oh damn it, I just gave it away. Oh yeah, oh well, boo. So then he was like, "It's of course Kaminari, because that photo came from his own phone. It wasn't even a message to him. Have none of you thought that that was weird?" As all of them look at Kaminari when he started backing up, saying, "Whoa, what type of accusation is that? I just got the photo." And he was like, "Where did you get the photo?" And he was like, "Of course, I took a picture of it." And he said, "What day?" And he said the exact same day that and time when Izuku went out to go get groceries. So he couldn't have gone into UA at all and stuff like and talked to like All For One and stuff like that because he was at the supermarket. So they all realized that he was lying, and when All Might tried to hit him, All For One appeared and took away Kaminari, saying, "Mm-mm-mm. Don't get in my way, number one. Not just yet." As the portal closed, and everybody looked disappointed because they realize what they have done. And I need a water break. My voice, dear God. So everyone realized what they've done, and they try to apologize. And Midori was like, "Save it. You guys can't even tell what's right from wrong." And and all four of them walked back into the into the was about to start walking into Shiketsu again. When all of a sudden, um, Izuku stops and a little portal opened. and it was like a summoning circle basically type, and all out of it came this little adorable thing. God damn you! But this little adorable little thing came out, and and everybody was like, all the girls were like, oh, and Izuku was like, what? And he remembered what Ryota was saying about summonings, and he was like, oh, so this must be the summoning thing. But why does it have my hair and red? Like, not my type of red, like your type of red, Shota. And she was, and no, he didn't say that. He just looked at it, and he's like, what's your name? And the little one says, my name Daichi. Sorry, my bad. My name Daichi. And you were like, that's a cute name. That's pretty adorable. And you're like, thank you, Papa. And he broke when Daiji said Papa. And of course Daiji has the ears and everything, because I forgot to say that Zuku has the ability to shapeshift as well. So he can shapeshift into like a cat, a dog, the actual dragon form, and stuff like that. So he's right now can go into hybrid. He could go into hybrid form as well. So yeah, so Daiji has that, and he has the bone, of course, because why not? It's just adorable. And Shota and Toga walk up to Izuku and was like, Izuku, are you okay? Izuku. And he snapped out of it, and he's like, I just didn't expect him to call me Dad, Papa. And it was funny because then Daiji looked at the two girls and like, my mommies. And they both broke, and Izuku started to chuckle. And when they heard him chuckle, they snapped back into reality. Of course, Eminem reference, of course. Oh, so yeah, when that happened, they were like, "Hey, it's not funny. He called you Papa as well." And Izuku was like, "I really don't mind. Right now, he's too cute to not say okay to." But they're like, "Yeah, you're right." So little Daiji jumped onto Izuku's head and lay down there, and of course, Shiketsu, Izuku doesn't have to wear on uniform. They allowed him to just wear on this. They wear on blue with black, and he has on black jeans and dark blue Jordans. Why not? Just give him that. And for Totoro, Shota, no, not Shota, Yuna. For Yuna, this, but it's black. It's black and yellow for the for the white part. So it's fully black and then yellow. And for Toga, it's basically the same as Yuna, but I'm just gonna keep this photo because I like this photo. So yeah. So they went back into the school, and Miss Joke was very disappointed in Aizawa, and she just gave him a death glare that shook Aizawa and also All Might, which surprised them. And she just walked back into class. So right now I'm gonna end it here. I'm not gonna add an extra fight scenes or all that. This is like basically like a backstory type of stuff, basically like episode 0. So I hope all of y'all enjoyed, and I hope that I could get like at least 20 subscribers. No, 20. Yeah, 20. No, like 15 to 20, and I'll do like the next part of this. Or actually, no. How much time have I spent on this? Let me see. I've only spent 39 minutes, of course. I wanted to make it like an hour long, but I'm gonna leave it like that. So I hope I get to see. I hope I get 15 to 20, so I can continue this because I'm actually having fun with this, and this is actually getting pretty good. So, and later on, I'm gonna add in more collages. Don't worry, it's not gonna only be this. So, yeah. So if you could tell the ship, or if you want me to change the ship, just tell me down in the link, and I'll do that. But anyways, thanks for watching. Yeah.